Today we have a 15-minute yoga chill practice. So we're going to go ahead and start in extended child's pose. Reaching those arms forwards as tall as you can, sitting those hips back. Taking a few breaths here just to get centered, feeling that connection with your forehead to the earth. Giving yourself an intention for why you came to your mat today. When you're ready, exhaling, coming up to all fours. We're going to go ahead and take it to a few bird dog crunches, extending that left leg and that right arm, crunching elbow towards the knee. Keeping that thumb up, heel turned up, toes curled under. We're going to reach it back, right arm's coming back towards that left foot. Feeling that little twist here to open that shoulder up, feeling that quad open, not too deep, and then releasing. Taking it to the opposite side, left arm forward, right leg back, elbow to knee, crunching it in, really exhaling, feeling that belly working. And then we're going to go ahead and extend, and we're going to open up that shoulder and a little bit on the quad. Again, since it's right in the beginning of our practice, don't go too deep. Just a little bit of work and movement. Coming back to all fours now, taking that right arm up to the sky. We're going to do a little thread the needles, but don't let that right arm touch the ground just yet. So looking up at that forearm and then coming back down. So feeling that twist. And then now we're going to release our right ear down to the mat. Right arm extended out. Left arm can be bent or it can be straight up overhead. Your hips are trying to stay even with the knees, so try not to swing the hips over to one side. So we're really working on finding center here. And then exhale, pushing into that hand, releasing that right arm back up to the sky and placing it down on the mat. And now we're going to take that left arm up and threading that needle, hovering it right above the ground. Exhale, coming down, inhale, opening up, and then releasing that left ear down to the mat. Right arm's coming up and overhead. And again, the more that right arm is up and over to the side, the more you're opening that twist. So since it's just the start of our practice, again, don't go too deep here. Really work on keeping those hips level. Just finding your breath here. Pushing into that hand and untwisting, extending that left arm back up to the sky, coming back to all fours. Taking a few cat-cows here. And we're going to push back into a down dog. So again, knees don't have to be straight. Find what feels good. Walk those hands back and take that right arm back towards that left calf. And then taking that left arm back towards that right calf. Feeling a little twist here in that spine. And extending it back out, down dog. Looking between the hands. Stepping those feet up into a forward fold here. Halfway lift, flat back. Forward fold, and then rising all the way up to stand, palms coming up overhead, and then stopping at heart center. And then stepping to the top of our mat, take that right foot forwards, left foot stepping back into warrior two. Heel to arch alignment here. Shoulders, hips are in one straight line. Gaze is past that front middle finger. Flip that palm up, and then taking it back, reverse warrior. And that left arm is gently placed down on that left leg, extending it back to warrior two. Taking it now side angle, no weight in that right arm. You can have it staying bent on your knee or extended. Straight down towards the ground. Again, your core is working here. Coming back into that warrior two. Straightening that front leg out. Shortening your stance just a little. Reaching forwards and then coming down to triangle. Opening that left palm up to the sky. Reaching it back up. And then stepping to the top of your mat into chair pose. And then releasing. And then we'll go ahead and step it back with our right foot, left foot forwards, coming into warrior two. Same thing, opposite sides. Heel to arch alignment, reaching it forwards and then extending it back, reverse warrior. Feeling that heart open and that side body stretch. Taking it back to warrior two. And then again, side angle. Placing that elbow on the knee or extending it down towards the ground, whatever feels best. And then coming back to warrior two, straightening that front leg, shortening your stance if you need to. Reach towards that front wall and then coming down to triangle pose. Again, trying to lift that heart up to the center. And then straightening that out, coming back into chair pose. And then releasing, taking that right leg across. So we're going to stay here into a single leg chair. So this is also a little hip opener. So just breathing into here, really trying to keep your hips even and level. And then we're going to come into Warrior 3. So you're going to take it straight back into Warrior 3. So your knee should be straightened, not like I was demonstrating there. And then you're going to go ahead and release. So take that left leg across into a single leg chair. So when we transition into that Warrior 3, really trying to straighten that standing leg. And as you're straightening, you're trying to keep your hips level and then coming back to stand. And then we're going to go ahead and flip. So we are facing the side of our mat, taking our toes inwards, taking the arms out to the sides, and then releasing all the way down into the ground. And you should feel a stretch on the calves. So the lower part of the leg should be getting a good stretch here with the toes turned inwards. And then you can take those hands staying down on the earth or taking them behind the legs, whatever feels good. Releasing those hands back down, turning those toes forwards. We're going to take it into a little walking side lunge. So this is going to be dependent upon your body. As you're walking those hands from side to side, you're going to say, yes, this feels good. My heel can stay down. My heel needs to come up. My knee needs to stay in more alignment. So this is really body dependent. And you can hold it as long as you want, or you can continue to walk. Now you're going to go ahead and take those hands, interlace them behind that low back, opening up that chest, letting them fall slightly up in front. Breathing here and then releasing. Taking those hands to the earth. We're going to go ahead and walk our hands over towards that right toe, pivoting on that back foot. And then we're going to come into lizard pose here. So dropping down to that back knee, uncurling the back toe, and then you can come down onto the forearms. So we're going to open up the hips again. So you can stay up on those hands if going down to the forearms feel a little too intense. And you can roll out into the side of the foot. Your foot does not have to be flat for this. Remembering to breathe. Pushing it back up. Taking that foot back in, and then we're going to straighten it back into a little hamstring stretch. Trying to keep your hips even here, pulling those toes back towards the face. If you have a yoga block, you can use it. And then exhale, releasing those hands back. Uncurling the back toe, pushing it back, down dog. Taking that left foot, stepping it up, and then out to the outside of the mat. Uncurl that back toe, coming down to that knee. Finding lizard pose on this side, so forearms can be down. You can go all the way down, arms straight, forehead down on the mat if you want an even more extended pose. That's going to be a little bit more intense, or you can just stay on those forearms or up on the hands. So you got to find what works best for you. And depending on how long you've been practicing, it's going to look a little different in everybody. Just remembering to breathe, feeling that connection to the earth, then pushing our hands straight up, straightening out that leg, chest coming forwards, toes curling back, and relaxing here in those hamstrings. Taking another breath here, and then walking those hands forwards, curling the back toe under, stepping it back, down dog. Coming into high plank, chaturanga down, and then releasing all the way down into the belly. Bend into those back knees. We're going to come into bow pose here. So bringing those feet together, reaching back for the foot, and then really pushing into those hip bones, that low belly and those hips. Trying to keep those knees pinned inwards, chest opening. Exhale, release, releasing that right ear down to the mat, palms up to the sky. Taking a few breaths here. And then we're going to come right back into it, bending those knees one more time. And then opening up into bow pose. If you can't quite reach your feet, you're just energetically extending those arms back and bringing those feet in. And then exhale, you'll release, this time dropping that left ear down to the mat. Taking a few breaths here. And then taking those palms together, you're going to drop that forehead down onto the palms. Feet are going to be out wide into alligator pose. So heels and are going to be trying to touch the ground as well as that inside part of the foot. And then I really want you to focus on breathing into the belly in this pose. So we're trying to go nice and deep, feeling that belly press down into the earth with every exhale. Slowing down our breath, slowing down our practice. We're almost done. Exhale, straightening those toes back out, and we're coming into Sphinx pose. So bringing those forearms down, and it's kind of like a forearm plank, or you can extend those arms out into seal pose. So the main thing with this pose is our shoulders are staying away from our ears, and this helps with that low back and with digestion. So finding either staying on those forearms or extending it out into seal pose, whatever feels best, or a combo of both. And then go ahead and draw those hands back beside the chest and pushing it back. Toes together, knees out wide, extended child's pose. Letting that forehead drop down to the mat, pushing into those hands, curling those toes under, pushing it back down dog, taking that right leg high to the sky and bringing it into pigeon pose. So right knee behind the right wrist, uncurling the back toe, sitting up nice and tall, and then go ahead and walk those forearms down. You can either stay on the hands, drop down to the forearms. You can extend the forearms straight out if you need to. And just remembering to breathe and release the tension on that hip. Couple more breaths here. And we're going to exhale, pushing up into our hands, curling that back toe under, stepping it back, down dog. Take that left leg up and into pigeon pose, bringing that knee across. And again, you shouldn't feel any tension in the knee. If you have, try to back out and redo. It should be all in the hip. And just releasing our body and releasing that forehead down. Taking a few more breaths here. Inhale, expansion. Exhale, coming to those forearms. And then you're going to push it back into down dog. Then go ahead and come to your knees. We'll come to a seated position. Knees bent, arms straight out in front. Slowly roll it down. Taking those arms out into a T, windshield wipering the legs from left to right. So again, trying to work on those quads opening up. Exhale, moving. Inhale, holding. Take those legs straight up in the air and then putting a bend into them, straighten and bend so you get those hamstrings just loosened. Hugging those knees into the chest, rocking side to side, little circles, and then releasing everything down into the mat, legs extended, arms straight out into a T. I'll leave you here for about a minute. Just breathe it in. Breathe in the benefits of your practice, your goals, what you've been working on. If I need time for yourself, I applaud you. Taking a few more breaths here. If you want, you can stay. Otherwise, bringing your hands to heart center. Namaste.